hard to guess what's inside a gift by the way it's wrapped, and the same can be said of some people. What you see on the outside may be hiding something inside you didn't expect. That's certainly true in the case of Ben Carson. On the surface, Ben looked and acted like a typical juvenile delinquent, but what was inside this young man was anything but typical. It was miraculous.
Go, go.
In 1963, Ben Carson was a poor kid growing up in a tough inner-city neighborhood in Detroit, Michigan. Violent and out of control, the 12-year-old boy was headed for a life of crime. And when he wasn't running from the law, Ben was skipping school, getting D's and F's. His future looked hopeless.
I had no competition for the bottom of the class. Just the worst student you could possibly imagine. I was what I call the safety net. No one had to worry about getting the lowest grade as long as I was there. You know, it really didn't bother me all that much, but it bothered the heck out of my mother.
Ben, get in here!
Sonia Carson was raising her two sons on her own, and she was deeply concerned about Ben's bad attitude and academic failure.
These grades are terrible. We're gonna lay some ground rules.
She decided to do something about it. There would be no TV and daily Bible study.
You know what else you're gonna do? You're gonna read 2 books a week.
I don't like to read.
Then no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm saying it's gonna happen, and this is what we're gonna do.
And to prove he'd read the books, Ben was required to give her a written report on each one. As Ben's reading improved, so did his grades. But the anger and rage inside him continued to grow, and he always fought back, even when the odds of winning were against him.
Excuse me?
I said back off! Let's go!
Can't you see you don't fit in here?
I said let's go!
Ben, let's go.
Even at home, Ben was not able to control his anger.
My mother wanted me to wear a piece of clothing that I didn't want to wear.
People are gonna make fun of me.
You are gonna wear this shirt, so go put it on.
She was trying to thrust it upon me, and I was just getting madder and madder. I had a pathological temper, and there was a hammer on the table. I grabbed the hammer. I went to hit her in the head with the hammer.
Ben's brother stopped him before he was able to strike their mother.
I just totally lost control when I got angry. Didn't think in a way that was rational at all, and that was such a problem for me.
As he got older, Ben became more aggressive. Even his friends weren't safe from his increasingly violent behavior.
When I was 14, I was having a dispute with a friend over a radio station. He wouldn't change it back to the station that I had it on, and I happened to have a large camping knife on my person.
What are you gonna do with that?
And fortunately, he had a large metal belt buckle on, and a knife blade struck it. He was totally shocked, but, you know, I was even more shocked because I stopped at that moment. I said, "What did you just do? You tried to kill somebody." And I went home and I locked myself in the bathroom. And I just couldn't believe that I had tried to kill somebody. You know, by that time, I had turned my grades around. I was an A student. I thought I was on my way to becoming a doctor. And I just recognized that I wasn't going to be a doctor. I wasn't going to be anything except somebody in a reform school or someone who was dead because of that temper. And yet I felt powerless to change it.
Following the wisdom of his mother, Ben turned to the family Bible.
I picked up my Bible and started reading from the book of Proverbs, which has multiple verses in it about anger and how foolishly people behave who cannot control their temper. And for 3 hours I read and contemplated and prayed, and I came to an understanding that people who reacted angrily were people who were extraordinarily weak, people who had absolutely no control of themselves. And I decided that that wasn't who I was, that I was smarter than that, and that that would never happen to me again. And that was the end of the temper. Never had another problem with it since that day.
From that day on, Ben focused on his studies and his dreams of becoming a doctor. He graduated at the top of his high school class and was accepted into Yale University on a scholarship. 4 years later, he went on to study at the University of Michigan's prestigious School of Medicine. There, he became fascinated with the human brain and decided to become a neurosurgeon. And in 1984, Dr. Ben Carson, at the age of 33, became the youngest chief of pediatric neurosurgery in the United States at one of the world's most prestigious hospitals, Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. For the young boy who was headed for a life of crime and whose uncontrollable anger was a danger to his family and friends, Ben Carson's transformation to respected pediatric brain surgeon was nothing less than a miracle. Today, Dr. Carson performs up to 500 surgeries per year. Beth Usher is one of his patients. At 5 years of age, Beth was diagnosed with a rare disease that was destroying the left side of her brain. Her parents watched helplessly as she began having over 100 seizures a day.
You know, she'd be sitting eating and she'd go into a seizure. She'd fall. There was a period of time where she looked like she was a battered child because
was black and blue.
She'd fall and her legs would be bruised, her face, she had a couple of bad spills, so it was a nightmare.
As Beth's disease progressed, she became bedridden, and at age 7, without hope of recovery, the Ushers decided to put all their faith in Dr. Carson and a radical surgery that would remove the diseased half of Beth's brain.
She said to me, "Mom, I wish I could go through a magic mirror. I want to come out a different person." I said, "But Beth, you're such a beautiful person. What kind of person do you want to come out as?" And she said, "A person who doesn't have seizures."
The delicate operation took over 12 hours, but Dr. Carson made Beth's wish come true. And today, she enjoys a full and healthy life without seizures.
It's been a long, slow process for Beth, but she's worked hard. She's a wonderful kid with a great spirit. She's doing wonderfully today. You know, we're obviously blessed with a wonderful child.
To give us back this bright, loving, intelligent life again is just amazing. It can't be anything but a miracle.
Dr. Carson saved my life. I am forever in his gratitude. I think he's the most wonderful doctor ever.
Because of a miracle that changed the course of his life, Ben Carson has helped to change the course of countless other young lives. His journey from troubled youth to renowned surgeon is living proof of the miracles that life has to offer if we're willing to overcome our problems.
Everybody's going to face obstacles in life. Success is determined not by whether you have obstacles, but how you relate to them. If you decide that that obstacle is going to stop you, it becomes a containing fence. It becomes your excuse, and it becomes your prison. If you determine that that obstacle is a hurdle that you're going to jump over or go under or around or through, then you have discovered the key to success in life.